Welcome tonight once more to Black Re-Education TV, where we're stepping back from the brink towards a more meaningful future. With our theme verse being thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. You're welcome to the show tonight where we give praises and thanks to the Most High. And we do that in the Bantu languages, close to dialects specifically of South Africa. We say Almighty Sunini, Nanini, meaning I am that I am. You're welcome to the show once more tonight. Just reading a comment, a few comments from people today. Lots of positive comments. And I know that it's a bit, a lot of corrections need to be made. Because of the lies that were told to us. Just reading a comment from Trinidad. Looking forward to this. I feel like a sponge soaking up new information and letting the old lies drain out. Wonderful comment from Trinidad. You're welcome tonight to the show. All are welcome to the show tonight. Those who are gathered in the chat room, those who are listening silently, we're going to have a short interlude of music once more as we get into the study tonight. Interesting study once more. All praises to the Most High. Sunini Nanini. Again, welcome Alder. Welcome in the chat room. Okay, we're gonna have a period of music, and here we go to that session just before. Hear my cries in me, attend unto my prayer. Actually, I see why Facebook and YouTube question this bit of music. Sounds very professional. Never mind. We give him praise and thanks. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. That is higher than I. For thou hast been a shelter for me, and a strong tower from the air. And again, for the purposes of YouTube and Facebook, I'm playing this music myself. I'm playing the keyboard and I'm singing. And because it's recorded, I'm now singing the duet to it. That is higher than I. Oh, just hear my cry. Hear my cry, suddenly attend unto my prayer. From the ends of the earth will I cry unto you. When my heart is overwhelmed, oh, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. remember to the Black Re-Education TV tonight, where we're stepping back from the brink towards a more meaningful future. When our theme first made, my word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Tonight we're studying who faked the Bible. We're going to see the Bible was fake, and we're going to see who faked it. We're going to see what they've done tonight. For thou hast been a shelter for me, and a strong tower from the enemy. Oh, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. Oh yes, just lead me. Guide me with your mighty hand. Lead me to the rock that I may stand. Almighty Sunday, just lead me to the rock that I may stand. For thou hast been a shelter for me, and a strong tower from the enemy. Oh, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. That is higher than I. All praises to the Most High, Sumini, Damini. And in the closer dialect, the name of the Savior, the word is Masindasi, not JC, Masindasi. That's in the Bantu language, the closer dialect. This is Masindasi. Masindasi. It is Masindasi. Yes, he is. And if I can touch the hem of his garment, yes, his love has made me whole. Let's try it again. This is Masindasi. That's the word for Savior. Masindasi. It's Masindasi. Yes, yeah. And if I can touch the hem of his garment, yes, his love. Welcome to Beetle, welcome to the show tonight. Oh yes, what a mighty King we serve. What a mighty King we serve. The angels bow before him, heaven and earth adore him. What a mighty King we serve. You're welcome to the show tonight, Jim. What a mighty King we serve. Are we getting into the teaching tonight? Just at the top of the hour. In the meantime, in between time, we just give him praise and worship to our Father. Oh, bring me near, draw me. Oh, we worship his name. Joanne, you're welcome tonight. Welcome to the show. We're just having an interlude of music until the top of the hour when we start to study. The Bible was fake. Who come drink to it right now. So we say, hold me close, let your love surround me. Bring me near, draw me to your side. And as I wait, and as I wait, I'll rise up like an eagle. I will soar with you. Your spirit leads me on in the power of your love. Oh, we give him all the praise tonight. Okay, right, that's for the bit of music there pre-recorded by me, and it's not some Sodom and Gomorrah playing according to YouTube. I am playing this keyboard myself, and that's the music the beats I've put together for the purpose of the show. Tonight I'm gonna do the last song that I really like a lot. Beautiful one. That's the worship we give to our Father. Wonderful, so wonderful is your unfailing love. Your death has spoken mercy over me. No eyes have seen, no ears have heard. welcome once more to Black Re-Education TV, where we're stepping back from the brink towards a more meaningful future, with our theme for us being, Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Welcome to the show tonight, where we give praises in the Bantu languages of Africa, specifically the closer dialect of South Africa. We call him in that language, I am that I am. In the languages, Sunimni Danimni, and his son, Masindasi, the Savior, Sin Destroyer, and soon coming King. We thank him for his people scattered to the four corners of the earth via the transatlantic slave trade or the Mohammedan Islamic Arabic slave trade. Yes, 128 million, 114 million respectively to the four corners of the earth, whether it be the two Americas, Asia or Europe or the islands of sea. Once your ancestors were scattered, you are the children of Sunini Danini tonight. And to our brothers and sisters on the continent, stretching in the northern kingdom of Israel, starting with Kenya in the east, over to the Gambia, Senegambia in the west. That is the northern kingdom. Yes, all the nations along that line there, they are part of the northern kingdom, and the southern kingdom starting with South Africa. Yes, Namibia, Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland. Oh yes, Mozambique, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, I said, Botswana, Angola. These are the nations in the southern kingdom, the free Congos in the central part of between the two kingdoms. Yes, we give praises and thanks to the Most High for all of sub-Saharan Africa is the location of the Bantu people. Yes, the children of Jacob. You're welcome tonight. Oh yes, you're welcome to the show tonight, and we give praises and thanks for all that have gathered in the chat room. All those who are now joining, you're welcome to the show tonight. I'm going to give an acknowledgement at the end, but we want to get into the show, an interesting show once more. Last night we had an issue with Facebook. Facebook is, I know what is happening to them. They can't take the reality that the story of Jerusalem, that song that is made popular by the South Africans on the continent in the southern kingdom, these people are living, they are virtually living in Jerusalem. That's where the kingdom of Jerusalem has been located. Tonight we're going to see what the people did to move those locations out of Africa. That's what we're going to do tonight. So the Bible was faked. It was faked, and we're going to see who faked it tonight. We're going to look at that a little closer tonight. So Jerusalem, they said last night, oh, your show is going to be blocked. I don't know who was able to see the show on Facebook, but fortunately, though they tried to block it on YouTube, they didn't block it, right? They didn't block it. So if you missed the show last night, where we were looking at the contents, the lyrics of those words, of that song, Jerusalem. You see, we were looking at the lyrics. And the lyrics is pointing to the fact that the people on the continent in South Africa, where Jerusalem was part of, where Jerusalem was located, they don't even know that they're living on the continent. Yeah, I got lots of friends over there, and one friend said, oh, I'm living in Jerusalem. And what a refreshing thought to know, even though the address comes with Jerusalem, the address comes with Jerusalem written on it. You see? And Jericho is there, and the Jordan River is there. My friend from Lesotho, he said, every day I pass the River Jordan. It's there. How could this guy know these things? It is there on Google Maps. It's there on the olden maps. And tonight we're going to have a closer look at some other things that were done to our people. Why did they do this? Why did they fake all of these locations? You fake things when you are fake. You have to be a fake, a super fake to be faking things. And you know who's the greatest super fake? Satan, the god of this world, that one who thinks that he is going to have possession of this earth that the Most High has created. Yes, you can see his sons and his daughters in performance today. They're the author of COVID. They're the author of the corona. It is not new. They did it in the time of Masindasi on the continent when they plaited a crown of thorns. It's called corona. It's not new. They planted the crown of thorns. It was called corona. It looks like the same corona symbol. They can't. The devil has never changed his strategy. His purpose is exclusively to steal, to kill, and to destroy. I remember I did a show called The DNA of the Wicked Part 1 and 2. And the nations became very angry out here. Not the nations really, a particular group of people that align themselves with what is fake, you see. And they became very angry. So the DNA of the wicked, it means that Satan and those who are linked to him, they are carrying the wicked DNA that is passed on to Cain, and these are the children of Cain that are masquerading, making you feel that they're other things. You see? So we're going to see these fake people and what they did and who cooperate with this fakery. Of course, right away we could know that the nations that took the children of Jacob in the transatlantic slave trade, and before that the Mohammedan, Arabic, Islamic slave trade, they were all part of this confederacy or this conspiracy to wipe out the memory of the children of Jacob. And then they began to change the names so they can fake them. One group changed the name Israelites, and they wipe off the last three letters of the word Israelite, so they're left with Israeli. And then when they got into that fake land in 1948, they drop off the I, and then they began to call themselves Israel. This is the problem. This is the nature of fake. This is how fake looks. And because we don't read properly, I had a lecturer in teachers training college in my first year. I don't want to call her name, but she was English, and those people would know her because she would have probably said the same thing. And then I had two, actually. One was English and one was a teaching of reading. Miss Jordan, she was teaching me reading. And she said, reading is not worth calling. And those things they're embedded in my mind. Reading is not just calling words. It's understanding everything about that word. Everything of how that word came into being, its ancient meanings, its present meanings, and looking forward to the kinds of future meanings of that same word. And so reading is not just word calling. And English language, the language to which we adapted, the language that was foisted on us, the language that was put on us by the nations, after they first took out from us the Bantu languages, and on the continent there are over 85 Bantu languages that the Most High Sunini Nanini fused together. To fuse something together is to bring it into one. It means once you get a hold of one Bantu language, you can transfer to the others. I remember standing in the bank, the Barclays Bank in Botswana. This is in the town of Kani, and this guy came up behind me. You know, we look alike because we got the same color and everything. He greeted me. I greeted him in the language, the local language, which is Setswana. And then he began to talk more. And then I said, please, you need now to talk to me in English. He said, English? The Queen's language. But you look like me and everything. Why? I mean, Swahili? I said, no, none. We were taken out, and it was beaten out of us. If you remember the story of Kunta Kinte that came from the Gambia, he was beaten to the point of death to lose his name and accept Toby. This is what has happened to us. Who was doing these things? What was the purpose of these things? There is a main reason why this was done. It was done to cut us off from our inheritance, to remove us from our father's houses. So that now, like a day today, I was listening to Black Sit show tonight. I think I uploaded it on Vikingdom Common Facebook, as well as Zona TV on Facebook. Those are two private chat rooms that you can go into, request membership, and I'm going to let you in there. There is where I load up stuff about Africa for those who want to go back to Africa. You see, I load a lot up there. Welcome in the chat room. Welcome all those who are joining now. And in there, she was talking about the fact that we did not give up our citizenship. We were taken out of our countries of Africa, and apparently she was able to trace her roots back to the Gambia, to the land of Kunta Kinte. And regardless of which country, when the truth breaks through, and that is why I can see what Facebook is doing, they're anticipating what is going to happen. When all them people who singing Jerusalem are all over this world wake up to realize that Jerusalem is still in the location that it has been from the beginning in Africa, where Abraham lived, with the land that was given to Abraham. And when they see it's Africa, the Africa that was demonized by Europeans, then they're going to understand, what? That's where that anointing comes from. That's where, so Nini Nini is laughing. He's sitting back and he's having them in derision. Everybody is singing Jerusalem. Every nationality is singing Jerusalem. You see, but when they realize what they have been doing, they have been giving praises and thanks to the city of the Most High on the continent of Africa and not that fake thing in Fort Antonio. You see, Jerusalem right now lies waste. Read the scripture, Luke chapter 21. The Messiah is speaking very clearly. He said, Jerusalem shall be trodden down by European nations, the Gentiles, until the consummation. That is, until their time have come to an end. And we are at that point in history where the times are coming to an end and they're trying to extend the time with COVID, like how they extended the time the last time. They used COVID at the time of the Messiah to extend their reign. Caiaphas, the high priest, he was of the house of ʻkän. He said, it is expedient that one man should die for our nation so that the Romans don't come and move us out from this position of power. That they were working with the Romans, giving backup support to Esau, who was ruling in the name of Herod, according to that which was given to the Roman. This was the brother of, and I've done that show already, the brother of Jacob was put into rulership, and the reason why he was able to rule, because he had the garment that came off the ark, the garment that the Most High made for Adam and Eve. So it was given to Noah, and Noah had it on the ark. Noah came off the ark with it and was in his tent, and he got drunk, I think it was, and Ham came and took the garment. He stole the garment from Noah. The Europeans are adding a set of fictitious story about it, about homosexuality and all of that took place. None of that happened. They took the garment, and Ham took the garment from Noah that came over the flood from Adam. The garment of power that allows you to rule on this earth. And so Ham took that garment, and Japheth and Shem took fresh garment and put it on Noah. They went in backward so they don't see the nakedness of the father, and they put on fresh clothes on him. But Ham kept that garment and he passed it on to Cush, and Cush gave it to Nimrod. That's why Nimrod was a mighty man in the earth, because he had that garment of power and rule. And Cain killed Nimrod and took the garment. Esau killed Nimrod. Esau killed Nimrod and took the garment from him. So when the Romans were came and were occupying South Africa, and the Greeks living in Greco land, they were living there. You're going to see some maps with Greco land tonight, the ancient maps. They couldn't get to rule, so they allowed Esau to rule over Jacob, contrary to what the scripture said. The scripture said that the elder will serve the younger. That was the mark. The elder would serve the younger, but here was Esau reigning over Jacob in the land, because he got that garment because he murdered Nimrod and he took the garment. And the Romans and the Greeks were there, and I'm sure they got a hold of that garment. They got a hold of that garment of power. That's why the European nations are able to rule. But you know what? The time has now come to an end. The times of the Gentiles, that was how they were able to subdue the continent of Africa, because they took that garment away from Esau. Esau was prostituting himself with the nations, and he lost that garment to them. And we are at a point now in history where we're beholding the end of the Gentile reign. And we're going to see tonight who were the people that fake the Bible. They faked it. They tried to remove the locations from the continent of Africa so that you don't know that you are that special people. Peter calls us a royal priesthood, a peculiar people, a holy nation, a people called out of darkness into his marvelous light. And why are we not living as such a people? Because we don't know it. Christianity, Islam, all these fake religions were set up so as to divert our attention from being that people. We don't even know that Jerusalem is in South Africa, even though it was on the olden maps and still is on the olden maps. How is it that we don't know these things? Because there is a confederacy, there is a conspiracy on, and tonight we're going to see the people who join into that conspiracy. Let's go into the show tonight. Let's go into the show tonight. Thank you to all those who have just joined. We're going into the study of the scriptures tonight. The words of our Father Almighty. And we do that in the Bantu languages, the closer dialect of South Africa, Almighty, Sunini, Nanini. All right. Let me just get up that show for tonight. Come on. Where's my show? Come on, you little. Okay. Sometimes I intend these shows to be one show, but I'm going to keep my eye on the time so that I don't hold you too long. But it's going to be glorious again once more. How they created all the fake locations. We're going to look at that tonight. Psalms chapter 83 has the story inside. We're going to read a couple of verses from it, but this is a theme verse there. It says, they have taken crafty counsel. In Psalms 83 verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel. Now when you hear the word crafty, you got to remember Esau, because Esau is not the Jews. Esau is not the fake people there. Esau is the brother of Jacob. Don't mix this up. Yes, he did prostitute his lineage with the nations, but don't mix this. This is what they're enjoying when you are mixing up who they are. Those people that you see there that we're going to talk about later, these are the children of Ｋän that hide behind every situation to make sure you don't know who they really are. But these are the children of Kän, right? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, the children of Jacob, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They, who are the they we're going to look at tonight? They have taken what? Crafty, sneaky, shady, everything that is synonymous with the name Esau. Crafty counsel. Cunning. Remember, Esau was a cunning hunter. Cunning. Everything crafty, conniving, crafty, sneaky, shady. They have come together and consulted against the hidden ones, the children of Jacob. The nations, how the nations of Europe invented, or, it should be or, fake, false, fictitious, biblical location. How did they invented the fake, false, fictitious, biblical locations? How did they do it? We're going to look at that tonight. Let's go into it. We're going to start off with the book of Psalms. This is what I was just reading, but I'm going to read the entire book. It's a very short, chapter. It's short. A song of Psalms, Asaph. Keep not thou silent, O Sunini. Hold not thy peace, and be not silent, O mighty one. For lo, thine enemies. This is the point you need to note right away. He calls them my enemy. Lo, Psalm David speaking. Lo, thine enemies have made a tumult, a pact, an agreement. They that hate thee have lifted up their head. All of them that hate Sunini Nanini, those who did not translate his name into this book, when they saw his name, they put God and Lord and Adonai and El Shaddai and Elion and Jehovah and all of these fake names that they put in there, including Amen. Right? All of these fake names, they, lo, verse 2 says, for lo, thine enemies have made a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden one. So these people had a joint confederacy. We know the one of 1884 when the European nations met in, I think it is Belgium or Berlin. They met and they plotted how to carve up Africa, the Holy Land. But they have taken counsel. They have said, verse 4 says, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. So they who plotted to fake the Bible were against the nation of the Bible, the people of the book. They were working against the people of the book. They have come, they have said, come and let us cut them off to remove the remembrance. To cut off means to bring to naught, to bring to an end. Come, let us cut them off from being a nation. That's why we are scattered into all different locations. First, when they carved up Africa, they put borders inside, so we all become separate nations. Oh, I'm from Burkina Faso, I'm from Mali, I'm from Uganda, and they divide up everything. And so we fit ourselves now into their divisions. Then they brought us off the continent and they put us in places like Jamaica and Guyana and St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat, and all of these places, they divide us up. This was part of the crafty counsel. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off. Cut them off from being a nation, from being one people. That's what the purpose is. You see, Africa, when the Masindisi said, in my father's house, I did that show. In my father's house, Africa, one unit, a house, a single dwelling place. In my father's house, a single dwelling place, are many mansions. These are the countries, all the countries that they broke up into. You choose the location you want to live in and you can create your own mansion. Here they cut them off from being a nation. Not even a nation. There are several nations now all over the world. That the purpose is that the name of the sons of Jacob, Yakobi, in the Swana language, the sons of Israel may not be in remembrance. Cut them off so that the name of the children of Jacob may be no more in remembrance. That is the ultimate purpose. And they have succeeded to the point where we have been divided. Some of us are called African Caribbean, African American, Afro Asian, Afro Latinos, Afro Europeans, Afro, whatever Afro you can get, Afro CDs, what you could call them. And on the continent, they're called Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, South Africa. They divided up the same one people. I like the motto of Guyana that says one people, one nation, one destiny. I think Forbes was onto something. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. So they were after our nationality, our national identity, so that the name of Israel, the name of Jacob, the name of Yakobi is no longer remembered in the earth. For they have consulted together with one consent. They have agreed. They have their confederacy against thee. They are confederate against thee. So who are these people? Let's see. The tabernacle of Edom. This is Esau. The Ishmaelites. This is where your Arabs coming in. The Moabites. These were the children of Lot through one of his daughters. They were called the Moabites. Then you had the Hagareans. And then you had the people of Gabal. And the people of Ammon. And this is the Ammonites, I think it was. And then you have the Amalek. These are the people from Genesis chapter 10 in the seed line of Japheth. Remember we did the show with Japheth's wife being a hybrid that brought the bloodline of Cain over the flood. This is Amalek. These are the people today known as the Amalekites, or this is a grandson of Esau. This is a grandson of Esau. So these are the people, the Philistines. That is what they put there. These are the Palestinians. These are Arabs. This is not the Philistine of the Bible. This is how they've changed it. So that you don't know. Tyre. He said, what have I to do with you, Tyre? I have nothing to do with you. There is no relationship between the Most High and his people and Tyre. That's a place among the Arabs. But we're going to see what the nations have done. So these are the people that came together and joined. You notice that the European nations are not mentioned there. You know why they're not mentioned there? Because they're doing the translations. We know when they're doing the translation, they leave themselves out. It's the same thing happening in the New Testament. You don't see the sons of Cain in the New Testament. You don't see children of Cain because they were now translating. They leave themselves out. It is when Masindisi came on the scene and he recognized them. He said, oh, generate. And John the Baptist, the man they call John the Baptist, his rare Swana name in the language of Botswana, Lukanyani, means lesser light. John said, oh, generation of vipers, or offspring, descendants of the snake. That is Cain's children. the offspring of the snake, the serpent. And then Masindisi did it in Matthew chapter 23 when he said the same thing. O generation of vipers, how can you escape the damnation of hell? Then he went on to say, you are the killers of the prophets. He went on to say, upon you may come all the blood shed upon the earth, the righteous blood from Abel. Who was killing Abel? Cain. And if you weren't sure about it, John chapter 8 verse 44, he says very clearly, you, speaking to the Jews, the scribes and the Pharisees, you are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. So he equates Satan, your father the devil, and Cain, the murderer of Abel. He was a murderer from the beginning. So this is how we connect the seed line. That is why they murdered him, because he identified them. They don't want to be identified. These are the same people. This was Caiaphas, your high priest. This was the Jews, the scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees. I hear somebody say the Apostle Paul was a Pharisee. So this can't be right. Yes, Apostle Paul, yes, that Negro man, Apostle Paul from the tribe of Benjamin, joined this religion called Judaism. And he was part of those collecting his black brothers and slaughtering them on behalf of these people. He presided at the murder of Stephen. The men put their coat at one Apostle Paul's feet and stoned Stephen to death. He presided over the death of his own people. And when he came into contact, he said, with the Messiah, he changed his way and returned to who he was. And what happened? Read it in the book of Acts. The same people, the religion that he was part of and profited it above his brethren, they decided, the Jews, the scribes, and the Pharisees decided they're going to kill him. And they took an oath that they will not eat or drink, read it in the book of Acts, until they kill him. That's not my subject tonight. My subject is, these are the ones that plotted the destruction of our people. And the way to do it is to corrupt the Bible. So let's see. Let's see what else the scripture says. Ashur also is joined with them. They have holden the children of Lot. Remember, I tell you Lot's children? This is the Moabites and the Ammonites. Right? The children of Lot join with them. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sirah, as to Jabin, and to the brook of Kishon. Now the Midianites was Father Abraham's children with Keturah, the Canaanite woman. All right, so you know them. So all these nations have ganged up against the children of Israel. So you know why they hate you. That's why Masindisi said, marvel not if the world, because all the world leaders and powers come together in this conspiracy. The Catholic Church is chief leader of it. All the European nations were involved. All the Arab nations were involved in this conspiracy to hide the true people, to disinherit the true people. So when the song Jerusalem is taking into every single nation, and then the Most High will stand up and say, but you've been singing about Jerusalem. That's my city. That's my holy city that lies in waste today in the Kalahari Desert. Ask for Rini, a European that did an expedition in the Kalahari Desert and noted that it must have been the burying place of a great nation. They know why they went into South Africa. They know why they went into Zimbabwe, because there was where Solomon's mine was located, the gold place. And in South Africa, they know that that's Jerusalem and Judea. All right. It says here, let's go down. Make their nobles like unto Oreb, and like unto Zebah, yea, all the princes of Zebah. Say, it's the same word that they're playing around with, and he begins to name these places in the translation. Who said, let us take to ourselves the house of Sunini into possession. So they were going to take over the house of Sunini into possession. O mighty one, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, blowing in the wind. And I think this is the last piece of it. As the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth in the mountains of fire, so pursue them with the tempest, and make them afraid with the storm. is happening right now, fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Sunini Nanini. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. Then that men may know that thou, whose name alone is not that, whose name alone is Sunini Nanini. This is what they have done. They've replaced all the names. Art thou most high over all the earth. Sunini Nanini is the mighty one above all the earth. Now, that's a little bit of reading there to show you the perspective that all the nations, none are excluded. The Chinese are there, the Arabs are there, the Asians are there, the Arabs are there, the Europeans are there, right? And even some of our people on the continent, the Hamitic people, some of them unknowingly, like our people on the continent, still unknowingly, they are involved in the whole process. Our political leaders today in the continent and off the continent, they are a part of this conspiracy without even knowing they're part of it. They have taken money to suppress their own people. They've taken money to vaccinate or make the people test lab rats for vaccine companies. That's what these leaders have done because they don't know who they are. So we off the continent don't know and they on the continent don't know. This is what has happened to us as a result of what these nations have done. Now let's look at the fake. Exodus, it says, root of the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt. Let me put this in a nice location so I can point things out to you here. Guess you can see everything there. Right. It says, let me just get myself in position. Thank you. Right. It says, root of the exodus. Now remember the word exodus, coming out of Egypt, the Israelites. You stop the word, take off the last three letters, T-E-S, and you get Israeli. You see? That's what they did to make the word. And when they get into the land, they drop the I and then they now call themselves Israel. But the Israelites are black people that were slaves in Egypt. There were no European slaves in Egypt working for the black pharaohs. It never happened. But this is the fake, right? So, the scriptures tell us, last night we saw, Abraham coming out of Egypt, our father, was in Canaan's land in chapter 12, left Canaan's land because of famine, went into Egypt, Genesis chapter 13 verse 1, leaving Egypt and going back south. South is down. This is north, top. South is down there, as far south as South Africa. Just follow the Nile and you'll get south. And this is west, and over the side is east. Now look what is happening here. I'm going to show you several maps. This is a map from Egypt. Anytime you come this way, you're going east and then north. That's why they coined the phrase Northeast Africa. And they get our people connected and arguing about Northeast Africa. I'm not slagging everybody because I made the same error. When I wake up to the Hebrew and I was thinking, oh, this is a story. And then even in my book, I've written it there, which is going to be edited. And I'm not going to remove it. I want people to see the change and the growth and the movement, how we get it wrong and we have to get it right. So here we go. So coming out of Egypt, if you come this way, you're going east and then north. So this is east-north or northeast Africa. Abraham didn't do that. Abraham went straight south. Abraham went straight south. All right? That is key to remember. Those who don't know that, you go back and look at the shows that I've done, Africa, the Holy Land series, and just the very show done last night. So this is a fake map. They created these wonderful looking maps and they put these stories inside here. We know Gaza is in Mozambique. We're not going to go into this, but look at the journey. They said they left Goshen and they're trying to make like a little coming down kind of behavior before they go up back there because that's where they want to go. So they could have gone straight across there. So they make it, they're playing around, making it look like they're coming south, and then they suddenly gone back up. Yeah? Suddenly gone back up because they're going north. That's to the Levant or the Negev. It's north of Egypt. But Abraham went south of Egypt in Genesis chapter 1 verse 13. Next map. Now I'm showing you all the fakes that they have done. Now they take this people here. You see the Hittites? These are what we call the Hottentots, or the Bushmen in the Kalahari Desert area. And they put them there in Turkey. They put them in Turkey. See? Because they need to bring all of these places from sub-Saharan Africa into this location. So you get places like Padan Aram. We're going to look at that, so I'm pointing it out. Haran and Padan Aram is the same place. Haran is the son of the brother of Abraham. You see? So this place is on the continent of Africa, just behind Nigeria, in the area of Sahara's Desert, or the Sahara Desert. That's where this is located. So they lift that whole place and bring it up here. So these places got to be chopped up there. This one came from way bottom, the Hittites. These are Canaanite people. These are Hamitic people. These are black and brown people. They bring them into Arab lands. Why did they do this? So that they can claim Arab lands. You will never hear Abraham is being mentioned among the Arabs, right? Among the Arabs. Like, where's one of these Arab places that they had there? Ramallah and this kind of places. No, never around there. All right. So Abraham went south. This is north. Coming out from here is north. They call it Northeast Africa so they can make us think that there's a location. But we're going to go down. Here's another one. They tell you that this is Abraham's word. This is the same location of the Hittites. This is Turkey. This is the Mediterranean Sea. This is Turkey. There is no Canaan land here. Canaan's land is south. Go back and look at the show last night. So we're going there. So this is the fake that they've produced here. This whole situation here is a fake. That Euphrates River is near to Nigeria and Ghana, the Euphrates River. And like I said, I'm going to show you where the Damascus is. I didn't respond. I'm not responsible for it. Truth Unveiled 777 produced that in an excellent manner. We're going to look at that eventually. But I'm just bringing you up to the fakes. The map and the journey of Abraham. This is fake. That's not Abraham's world. This is Turkey. Abraham is not Turkish. Abraham is Negro. Abraham lived in Cape Town, in Mamre. We saw that. We're going to see it again. But I'm showing you the length to which these nations went to fake and to produce colorful maps, because they understand the power of imagery. The power, and this is the power of graphics. The image that stays in your mind. It doesn't even want you to read anything, because an image, a picture like this is worth over 500 words. Some people say 5,000. We do that when we teach graphics and technology. An image, you draw it, it represents more words that you can ever write to explain. So here we're going to show us the fake Haran. You see? Padan Aram, where Jacob got his wife from. This is where this is the name of Abraham's brother. This is Terah's son that died, Lot's father, is on the continent in the area of the Sahara Desert where they were living. We're going to come there. You notice when they produce all of these places that they have taken out from Africa, they minimize the African map. You see, you barely get to see a little piece. If I can just tip you up there. You barely get to see a piece that you don't even show that you're looking at Africa. Let me just get this lined up nicely again. Yes. You barely get to see a little piece of the Nile River there. This is Egypt. Africa is a very large continent. They show you that little piece, and then they show you this is where Haran was. Haran is on the continent of Africa. Genesis chapter 11 verse 31 says, and Terah, that's Abraham's father, took Abraham his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, that's the same Haran, which is his son's son, his grandson, right? That's Abraham's nephew. And Sarah, that's Abraham's wife, his daughter-in-law, his son's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. You see? So, they're leaving the area of Sarah's desert where Terah lived, working for Nimrod. He was working with Nimrod. Nimrod was a king in Babylon. All right. Babylon is opposite Memphis. I'm going to show you some of these. I'll probably pass a map with Memphis. Let me just go back up. If I see Memphis there. Memphis. See? Memphis is on the Nile River. And Babylon is opposite Memphis. Exactly like they did in America when they replicate Memphis on the Tennessee River. They've got the pyramid and it's opposite Memphis on the Tennessee River. That's how we know that they are replicating the house of bondage of the children of Jacob. America. That's the house of bondage. That's the new Egypt and the new Babylon. All right. So this Haran or Padan Aram, when you read it in the scripture, it is talking about the fact that Terah, Abraham's father, was working for Nimrod, and Nimrod lived here. Yeah? And this was where, going down in there is the desert where Sarah was called Sarah's desert or Sahara desert, if you want to call it that. That's where Abraham's father was living. Terah, that's where Haran was living. But the place was so big that Haran had its own location, as we'll see in the scriptures just now. It says, and they left. Let me read it. And Terah took Abraham his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarah, his daughter-in-law, his son's Abraham's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran. So going to Canaan's land, which is south, they stopped over in Haran. So Haran was on the way to Canaan's land south, like we saw last night. So it's not going north, it's all coming south. So they stop over at Haran for a little while, and I think Terah died there. And then Abraham, the Most High, appeared again to Abraham. Read Genesis 11 and say, Abraham, I told you to leave your father's house. You're bringing him along. I want you to leave that place and come. I'm taking you deeper to show you a land flowing with milk and honey. So Abraham and Sarah got up from there. And now this is Genesis chapter 11. And it's now going to go into Genesis chapter 12. And they came to Haran and dwelt there for a while. When Terah died, they continue on south into the land of Canaan. All right. Now these are all the fakes. Continues. They fake Shechem. Shechem is in Namibia. Right? Shechem is in Namibia. Shechem is not located near to the Dead Sea at the Jordan River at all. This is not the Shechem. Right? We already know that there's no Dead Sea in the Old Testament. We said that already. Hebron and all of these places, the Arab places that they put around here, we're not going to even pay attention. Hebron, we know it's on a continent. We're going to see them on the old maps. I was supposed to move this over to another location. Well, why would Bethel be so near to the so-called Dead Sea and it is not mentioned in the Old Testament Bible in connection with the Dead Sea? That's the question I'm asking. Why would such a location, such an important body of water like this so-called Dead Sea next to Bethel has no reference about that in the Old Testament? None at all. Not even Salt Sea. Nothing connected with Bethel and this fake location called the Dead Sea, because it's not there. This is a set up place. This is in Arab lands. And the lot of the children of Joseph fell from Jordan by Jericho. This was the one I was supposed to move over. By Jordan by Jericho, and that's where Jordan is on the new map, on the Google map, onto the waters of Jericho, onto the east, to the wilderness that goeth up from Jericho through onto Bethel. And that's what we saw last night on the map. All right? That's the real Bethel. And let's go. Nile River. This is north. This is south. This is east. Anywhere here, anywhere horizontal here is going east. Yeah? And anywhere vertical here is going south. So south is this way. This is north, south. East, and if you're going up again that way, anything going this way is north. So that's why they call that, so this will be east-north or northeast. Africa, they call that. But this is south. That's what Abraham did. He went south. All right? Okay, let's go on. Not a fake map. Lots of money spent into the production of this lie. Lots of it went into the production of the fake Jerusalem. So we know Abraham left Egypt and he went north. never east, or never north, south. So this is another glorious fake. That's why you will not find the story of the Red Sea being a sensible story, right? Because it's way over this side. It's way over that side. Abraham went out of Egypt along the Nile River. He went in via the Nile River and he came out via the Nile River back to Canaan's land. All right, let's go on. So the word that we get connected with in this story, like we saw last night, is the word that was used in the fake Hebrew. You see this story I'm showing you here? This is a Blue Letter Bible. It gives you the lexicon of the Strongs, and the Strongs give you the Hebrew and the Greek translations. What they did with this document is that they recorded how they change the locations. See, that's what they did. And when you tell lies and document your lies, it's very tragic. You know, I had an experience, you know, I don't want to talk about it tonight. I've got it holding for another occasion, you know. But when you tell lies and then document the lies, you can extricate yourself from that. So they can't get out of this, because now they say the Negev, land of Canaan in the south country that we'd see. Yeah, they say it's in the south country. The land of Canaan is in the south country. And the reference point, like we do when we're building a building, if you're familiar with construction, or designing building, we use a datum line or reference point. That point is the point from which all measurements or references in terms of measurement and elevations is with regards to the building we want to set up is taken. So if you're a surveyor, you would have a datum point or datum line or datum peg, a reference point from which you are making references to the locations east, west, north, and south as you carry out your surveys. Now, the reference point is Egypt. So Egypt is the north. Let's call Egypt the center. Moving out from Egypt, if you go east, you're going to Arab lands. If you go north, you're going into that Negev, more Arab lands. If you go south, you're going deep into the continent of Africa, as far south as you can get South Africa. If you're going east from Egypt, you're going to the direction of Morocco, Libya, and those directions. You see, that's how the reference point is used. So if you got the Negev, we know the Negev is among those Arab lands. Hear what they say. South country, Negev is the south. The reference point is Egypt. Now look what happened. When they got the word south of Egypt, south, the word south alone, with reference to Egypt, leaving Egypt, is mentioned 89 times in the scriptures. The word south. Southward is mentioned 16 times. South side is mentioned 5 times. And south country is mentioned 2 times. There is no reference to the north. But the Negev is north of Egypt. The Negev, or the Levant, is north of Egypt. So they've documented this lie that they have told. But this is the part of the lie that they've made it out. South country, we know that's south. But the Negev is separate from south. The Negev, you can't link Negev and south, because Negev is north. The south country, a region of southern Judea, boundaries not specified. Ah, why? We know all the locations around there. Why it's not specified? Because you don't want it to be specified, because you're telling lies. The Negev, from an unused root meaning to be parched, the south, from its drought, specifically the Negev or southern district of Judea, occasionally Egypt as the south of Palestine. Is that so? How did Egypt become south of Palestine? Egypt is south of Palestine, but therefore from Egypt going to this Palestine is north. You get it? Egypt, if you got Egypt, I'm going to put a map of Egypt just now up there. If you get Egypt as your reference point, let's say this is Egypt, and you want to go to Palestine, you got to go north or northeast Africa, according to them. Northeast you got to go. You can't leave Egypt and go south and end up in Palestine. If you leave Egypt and you go south, you're going to end up as far south as South Africa. So this is the game that is being played, but we're going to see more of it. And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan. Let's see where he's going to send them. And said unto them, get you up this way southward. So where was Moses? Moses is coming out of Egypt. And he sent scouts out in front of him. And he said to them, go and spy out the land, Canaan's land. Southward, go south. South of Egypt. Southward. All right. 39 Numbers. And you want to see what the land is that they dwell in, whether they dwell in good or bad, whether the land is good or bad, sorry, and whether the cities they be dwelling in, whether they be in tents or in strongholds, so he can plan his strategy. They're going south. Southward. No north, because north is Negev. East is Arab. You get it? South is into the continent. We're going to see more of this. Hebron, south of Paran. This is what they've done here. Let me show you this out. This is what they've done with the words. You see that P they put in there? Paran and Haran is the same place. Padan Aran is the same location. It's in the Kalahari, in the Sahara Desert area. So, and they ascended by the south and came on to Hebron. Hebron is in South Africa. That's why they ascend and they had to go up, and they ascend by the south and came onto Hebron. We're going to see this tonight on the old maps, where these people were. And they saw the children of Anak, or the Anakins. These were now in Hebron. This is what they came to. So they came south. Let's go on. And they came onto the brook of Eshkol. We know that Eshkol and Mamre were related. They were living in South Africa. Mamre was living in Cape Town. And came down from thence, and cut down from thence a bunch or cluster of grapes. This is the land. And they bore it between a staff, and they brought it, and they brought of the pomegranates of the land. The pomegranates grow in Shechem. So they brought grapes and pomegranates from Canaan's land, brought it back to the north where Moses was, where he sent them from, to show them the fruit of the land. But note the Anakins were there. These were giants. And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran. Don't tell me they come till over to Iraq side. No, they went back into the wilderness, the area of Sarah's desert, where Paran and where Haran was living, the same Haran and Paran. All right, to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them, and said and unto all the congregation, and shewed them the fruit of the land. This is the land in southern sub-Saharan Africa that they were going to possess. The same land that Abraham was living in. They can't go no other land. They could only go back to the land of Abraham, because that land was promised to Abraham's seed. Look at the show last night, or the two shows. Land of milk and honey. And they told him and said, we came unto the land whither thou sendest us, and surely it's flowing with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled. See, this is it. Jericho was walled, all the city there, and they were very great cities. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak, the Anakins, these that descend from the giants. Right? That's what they saw in that land when they got there. Land of Canaan. This is where we read last night. Genesis 12:5. And Abraham took Sarah his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. This is Abraham's brother location, Haran, still in the Sirius desert. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. This is Abraham went into the land that is south of Sirius desert. See? And so the children of Jacob now, Moses and them can't go no other place but back to Canaan. That's the land they're going now to defeat these people in the land. They're coming to Canaan's land too. It's still south of Egypt. And Abraham passed through the land. This is chapter 12 still. And Abraham passed through the land onto the plains of Shechem. That's where they got the pomegranates from. And onto the plains of Moriah. They added the H to it anyhow. And the Canaanites were in the land. That's the land of Canaan. We're going to see more of this tonight. Towards the south. Chapter 12. And so Ninini appeared unto Abraham and said unto him, unto thy seed will I give this land, the land south. And they built he an altar unto Sunini, who appeared unto him in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, in southern Africa. Verse number 8 says, and he removed from thence unto the mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent. We did the show last night, having Bethel on his west, and Ai, Iswatini, on his east. And there he built an altar unto Sunini. That's between Bethel, which is east of Johannesburg, and Swaziland, which is Iswatini. He was camping out between there, and he built an altar. That is the same location Jacob put his head down, or Jacobi put his head down, when he was going where? To Padan Aram, back to Sirius desert, to the house of Terah, to the house of Laban, his uncle, to get a wife. That is where he was going. And he fell asleep on the rock there, and he saw a ladder ascending. We know Jacob's ladder story. Typical of, important of this story, he said, this is a house of Sunini. He says, Sunini is in this place, and I didn't even know it. And then he says, this is the gate to heaven. Because the angels were ascending and descending on that location, Bethel, east of Johannesburg, east of Pretoria. It is still there today. Right. And then he continues in verse 9. And Abraham journeyed, going still towards the south. I want you to see that. There is no north we're talking here. Abraham is still coming down deeper in the continent, and Abraham is journey going on still towards the south. That's just before he discovered the famine, and then he began to go north to Egypt. All right. Who was in the land? He says the sons of Anak, or the Amalekites. This is the sons of Esau, Esau's grandson. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south. Come on. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south. And the Hittites, not in Turkey. These are the Hottentots, or what we call the Bushmen, or yes, these are the people. There's another name for that. I can't remember the name now. There's another name. Anyhow, I can't remember. But these are the Hittites. These are Canaanite tribes. And look where Jerusalem, the Jebusite. This is where the word Jerusalem started off from. The Jebusite. Jerusalem is a Jebusite city. And the Jebusites and the Amorites. Remember Mamre that was living in Cape Town. It's still there today. Mamre, he was an Amorite. Dwell in the mountains. And the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. That's where Lot went and set up camp. It was south of Egypt, beyond the rivers of Cush. South. 13. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abraham's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanites and the Perizzites dwell in the land. 13:12. And Abraham dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plains, and pitched his tent towards Sodom. He was on the Jordan, in the coast of Jordan. And he pitched his tent towards Sodom. Sodom was in the north of South Africa. All right, let's go. Still is today. What you're seeing there is Bethel. It's in the distance. Let me see if I can just bring it in so you can see it. Let me just put myself so I can maneuver this this camera for you now. But those who were in the show last night, you would have seen Bethel. Let me just bring it in so you get to see it. And these are I captured so that it's not naming who. Settle up, Google. Come on, come on, settle down. Yeah, but you see, that's Bethel, that's Johannesburg, it's east of Johannesburg, that's Eswatini or AI, right? So Abraham came and he dwelled from Bethel, he moved right down to the plain. Look at it. Let me see if they're going to hide it. Now I captured these before they change it so they can't get rid of it now. He lived in Cape Town in a place called Mamre. You see there? That's in Google Map. I'm going to show you old map later, right? So that's where Abraham lived. So hence the top of the writing that says, Genesis 13:18. Then Abraham moved his tent from between Bethel, which is in Hebron, the area, and came and dwelt in the plains of Mamre, which is still a suburb, or say which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto Sinini. He came and lived in Cape Town with Mamre. Mamre was his friend. All right. Now this is the old map. We're going to look at these locations that we mentioned. So we're looking at Mount Horman. This is the real Mount Horman. Now this is Smithfield. So you know that this is South Africa. This is South Africa. So that's Horman, Mount Horman. Mount Horman. The real Mount Horman. Yeah? This is not the one in the fake land where they copied over. This is Hebron. And there's a mountain there. And there's Bethsaida. These are all scriptural locations I'm going to show you tonight. This is Bethsaida. This is Mount Carmel. Yeah? This is Mount Carmel. So whenever you read, you can do your studies, look for Mount Carmel, look for all of the scriptures in the Bible that talk about Mount Carmel, and you see that there was a man that was living in Maun. Maun is only in Botswana, right? It's the next going up there to the north, and he used to shear his sheep, cut the wool off his sheep in Carmel. He was so rich that he owned this threshing floor here, or this location where he was cutting the hair off his sheep there in Carmel. That's where he was doing it. That's Mount Carmel. So we've got, I think I said, another Bethsaida between there. Right? This is the area. All right? There's a pool there. This is Mount Horman. Still Mount Horman there. And then I have other maps. So it's Horman and Hebron you're seeing there. This is on the old maps of South Africa. Still in the same location. I probably need to show you that this is Greco land. You see that? Let me go back up and show you. Greco land is where the Greeks. No, this is Basotho land. No. Let me just go down. Now, this is not Greco. I think it's right here, but you see it on another map. Let me just keep with this. Berea. I think it's in the book of Acts. You read about Berea. This is Mount Moriah. Mount Moriah. Remember, we're still on the map of South Africa here. Still Carmel there. Still Hebron there. Still Horman there. This is Moriah here. And this is the same mountain, Mount Moriah. See, Mount Moriah. Okay? Well, you think you can see Horman very clearly now. There's Mount Horman. There's Mount Horman. And there's the location of Horman. And that is Mamre in the bottom there, South Africa. Yeah? All right. Let's go. I've got lots more. Don't worry. Let me just keep my eyes on the time so that I don't keep it to, we are at the top of the next hour now. So I've just taken off the that part of Google so you get to see. So you've got Pretoria over here. Bethel is right between here, and that's Ai. All right? And so Abraham moved from there, and he came, because Lot went that side. Abraham come opposite to Lot. So Abraham come and dwell in Mamre. I don't know if you can see Mamre better now. That's Mamre. See? That's in Cape Town. That's South Africa. That's Mamre. And this is a Jordan River. It's in there. We did it last night. That's Durban, South Africa. That's Johannesburg. That's Pretoria. You can see those places. Yes? Good. So we know that we are in this area. All right? So above, I can't get above that because that's the highest part. Above Pretoria is Hebron. And above Hebron there is Jericho. That's the area of Jericho. And it is in those locations you get the mountains as well. Let's continue on. That Jordan River is running inside that reservation. They're hiding it inside there. All right. They did that last night. Please go back and look at the show last night for those who missed it. Tika did a live, and you can do it on your Google map yourself. This is what I did. On Google Map, you can type in Jordan River, South Africa. It will come up. Mamre, Cape Town. It's going to come up. All right. If I can push this back out now so you get to see the rest where you're going. Okay. This is Jordan River proper, because I did went into it. So I did zoom in on it so you get to see it. That's Jordan River. Now this is Jordan River in the reservation that I'm telling you about. This is still South Africa. Yeah? This is a Titsi River that's there. But this is the Jordan River here. This is just below Lesotho. All right? Okay. Then I bring a little bit in here. I'm going to escape because I want you to be able to read this now. And then I'm going to zoom in on it because when I do it like that, you don't get to see it. Now this is South Africa, yeah? This is the Canaan's land. You just could take out the K and put a C. They're interchangeable. Canaan's land local municipality. Yeah? If you look across there, in that red, that is where Canaan's land is in South Africa. Still today, this is on Wikipedia, right? This is Wikipedia. And it tells you that the Canaan's land, take out the K and put a C. Same thing. Canaan's land, local municipality. And there are 3 locations in there that I want us to look at. All right? 3 locations in Canaan's land. I think that's in the Western Cape, right? So that's it there. That's the symbol for the Canaan's land. I think I have it up there. You can go to Wikipedia and read about that. I don't want to do that here tonight. Here, I just put a little reading on it. Canaan's Land Municipality, a local municipality located within the Garden Route District municipality in the Western Cape province of South Africa. The municipality area is situated in the Western Cape, part of the Little Karoo, and includes the towns of, and I want you to pay attention to these towns because we just saw those towns on the old maps. Ladysmith, this one, and Zoar. Zoar, remember the story with Zoar and Lot? I'm going to show you the town of Zoar. And this is, as of 2011, it has a population of 24,000, right? 24,767 in its municipality code. But look, Ladysmith, this one, and Zoar. We're going to actually see those locations in a bit. This is where Canaan's land was. This is the Western Cape, right? This is where that municipality is located in South Africa. This is the bottom of the continent there, South Africa. Yeah? That's Canaan's land's the kind of logo. I think this is some ancient kind of writing. They're not settling it good enough for you to see it. I don't know why they're doing that tonight. Right. That's Canaan's land. All right. This is the logo there. Okay. Now, let me pull this out now. Because remember I told you about the three locations. Let me push that back out. So this is Canaan's land, and we're looking at if I can get you to see this. I'm going to literally raise this up because I'm in a position to do it now. Right. You can see it. You see Zoar? This is the people in Zoar. That's the people in the Ladysmith, and this is the one in the other one. This is in South Africa. It's part of Canaan's land. Canaan's land. Right? These women in Zoar celebrating. That is South Africa. This is not fake. This is real. This is on the soil today. This is 2017. 30th of August, 25th of August, 2017, 23rd of August. This is current on the ground. Yeah? So these are people in Zoar. That's where Lot escaped to when the place was destroyed. And this is Ladysmith where we saw those maps. I'm going to back up to the map so you don't, I'm going to escape from this. I'm going to back up to those maps so you get to see them I'm talking about. The old maps. Right. You see, that is the same area. This is the same area here, where we got Harmon. And then you got Greco-land. I didn't get to show you this. Greco-land. Greco-land. This is the land where the Greeks were occupying. See? The Greco-land. Another one. Still Greco-land on the day. Greco-land is there. This must be the Orange River. Right. Or is another river in there? Smithfield. All right, let me go down. Let me go down. Got much more to go with. Canaan's land. Zoar. Lady Smith. And these are the people having meetings there. And then brings you to this one. I want to go back onto the full slide for this one so that we do this reading. So we're talking about the people faking the location, isn't it? This is the effort that they've put in to hide these places, right? Zoar. Genesis, can you see that? Genesis chapter 14. We didn't do, we went on, we did 14 before anyhow, because we did Zoar already. That these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Berksha, king of Gomorrah. Now Gomorrah is where Alexandria is today in South Africa, and Sodom is close up to the border with Zimbabwe up in the north, all right? And some of these names I'm not going to pronounce. These are Canaanite names. Shinab, king of Admar, and Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela. Well, Bela is, I will show you Bela, real Bela today, which is in Zoar, right? So this is the location. This is South Africa, right? Bela is there, got hot spring in Bela. Then verse 8 says, and they went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admar, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela. They said that's where Zoar is. Anyhow, 1, king of Sodom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kings. This is the kings that went up. This is, I think it was more than them. Anyhow, 5 kings that Abraham fought with when he defeated them, when they took Lot and they went away. And the story of Hobah, we look at the story of Hobah, came in there when he defeated them. Hobah is in Namibia, and the meteorite still sits there. We look at Joshua and the meteorites in Gibeon, and they still display in the window of the capital. Genesis 19:22, haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore the name of the place was called Zoar. I don't like when they tell me what the name of the place must be called, right? Because I know that they're faking a lot of things. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Now, Zoar is going to be in the east. It's in the east. So they're talking about the sun rising in Zoar. Zoar is an eastern part, right, of Canaan's land. And Lot went out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. All right? This is in South Africa. Deuteronomy. This is another Deuteronomy 34 verse 3. And the south, and the plains of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees. And I did show you last night as well that the Jericho is the city of palm trees. The palm trees are still sitting in Jericho, and I'm sure I still have it up there. I still have it up there that I can... what was I reading you were not seeing? Sorry. Somebody could have told me that. Oh, yes, you were seeing. Okay. Right. Let me just bring up... the city of palm trees over here. So for those who are new to the show, the evidence, the physical evidence, as the Bible says it, it's there. Before I bring that up, I actually sing Zoe here, so I'm going to bring it in. Because I've frequented the map, it's unfortunate. It's one of the things that I love a lot. So the maps are very easy for me to traverse, and one of the jobs I used to do. See, that's Zoa. See, that's Zoa. This is live right now. So if I zoom in on Zoa, I'm going to actually see. See, this is Zoa. Zoar. See there? This is South Africa. If I change this, I might be able to see, get into some buildings. See, there's mountain there. This is Zoar, South Africa. It's still there. Nothing has changed. The land is still there. Let me just take this off so you get to see it in plain. Zoa, right there. Yeah? Right. So that's Zoa. I wanted to show you Jericho, sorry. Jericho. The city of palm trees, we had this up last night. We're doing good for time still. They're still doing good for time. Right. Let me just move this out. Okay. What you're looking at there, let me just, I need to push this out for you. This is Jericho. See it up there? You see Jericho there? It's written there. Jericho. This is Jericho, South Africa. City of palms. It's still there. The palm trees are still there in Jericho. Nothing has changed. So who faked this story into the Levant? Who faked the story into the Levant? That's this conversation we're having tonight. I probably am at the end of the slides. Yeah. So we saw Jericho. So why did they do it? Why did they do it? They did it so that you and I would never know our inheritance. Not just us, but even the people on the continent, the common people, they would not know. The lady said, yeah, they call us people from Gomorrah, but we don't even know why they call us people from Gomorrah. Yes, that is Alexandria. The people in Alexandria are still called the people of Gomorrah today, but they don't know why. People are singing Jerusalem and not even knowing that they're living in the land of Canaan. Who was able to do this psychological, mental manipulation of our brain to the point where we just read the book according to how they have taught it to us? And when we know by the set apart spirit, the spirit of Sonini, because it's returned to the earth, he's right here again, and he's now revealing these truths, they're getting angry. Because you and I are going to wake up. We're going to see what was pulling us. We're going to now understand why we were made to hate Africa with such hatred. That we don't even... Because the leaders on the continent as well, they don't... No, Uncle Cyril, with respect to Uncle Cyril is leading South Africa. Uncle Nelson Mandela, he was leading that place. Cousin Tabo and Becky leading that place. Jacob Zuma leading that place. They were living and leading Jerusalem, leading and living in Judea, and don't even know who. When the scripture said that Satan has deceived the whole world, do you understand the level of that deception? This is not the deception of an ordinary being. This is the arch enemy of the Most High, Sunini Nanini. He is able to turn people's mind. Bob Marley sing it in the words of Marcus Messiah Garvey. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. They turned the whole thing around. Hollywood was involved. The Catholic Church was involved. All the European nations were involved. Eastern European Jews are involved. The Arabs are involved. Go to India, you will see the product of the Arabic, Islamic, Mohammedan slave trade. The CDs are still living in India. A people that came off this continent via that Arabic, Islamic, Mohammedan slave trade that lasted for 114 years. This is the story of our people. They came together and plotted. So the book you read called the Bible, if you read it how they tell you to read it, you're in trouble. Go and read Genesis chapter 13 verse 1 and you'll see where Abraham went to. But how? How were they able to do this? This is what is called crafty counsel. This is demon possession at the higher level. This is what we call DNA of Satan in operation. This is what it is. Where you're able to change the whole course of history, change the whole course of religion. So our people on the continent, in Nigeria, in the back there where Sahara Desert was, in the back there you got Mauritania, you got Chad and all of these people have been brought into the religion of Islam via the Mohammedan and the Caliphate, the Ottoman Empire. They were brought into Islam, which is the next bondage. All of this created by the Roman Catholic Church and Christianity. So if we don't get catch in Christianity, we'll be caught in Islam. Or we'll continue our bondage. So when you see them murdering us on the streets, and then you say, but why is it that every nation hates us? Why every nation? They're part of the confederacy. They're part of the conspiracy. They're part of the enemies of Sunini Nanini that have decided that they were going to make sure that the name of the children of Jacob is never ever remembered in the earth. But they're singing Jerusalem. It's coming out from Jerusalem. Jerusalem, there is a voice being raised in Jerusalem. I'm becoming prophetic now. There is a voice coming out from the land. It's oozing from beneath the Kalahari Desert. And you can hear the rumbling. When these two young people were saying, they were in the studio and this beat was taking. And then these words began to come. Jerusalem is the spirit of Sunini oozing out from under the Kalahari Desert, where Jerusalem, the temple, was located, and is infecting the whole earth once more with his presence. He is affecting life on this planet once more in a glorious way, not in a hateful way, not in a disgusting way like COVID and the corona, singing death and destruction. People are rejoicing in the midst of this evil plan of Satan. Jerusalem is oozing out from under the Kalahari Desert, is oozing out from sub-Saharan Africa, is oozing out from the Holy Land, Jerusalem. The place where manna still falls in Angola and in East Africa, Jerusalem. The Holy Land, the northern and the southern kingdom, still located today, but the leaders don't even know that they're leading these lands. They don't even know that they're sitting in the holy place. And they're doing disgusting things in the holy place. That is a breaking transmission there. I know that they're paying attention, close attention to what I'm saying. I've shown you Zoar, I've shown you Hormon, I've shown you Jericho, I've shown you the Jordan River, Shechem. It's right there on the continent. It's never had been among Arabs. It's south of Egypt. The land given to Abraham is south of Egypt. Why would the children of Abraham, the sons of Jacob, go into northern lands? No, they came south. Jacob is Swana. Yes, that's the word, the Bantu word that they changed into Jacob in English and Yaakov in the fake Yiddish language. Is on the continent Swana, but Swana language is Bantu. This is where the story is about. So all them people in the Gambia, all them people stretching in Mali, Sierra Leone, from which my mother's ancestors came from, all there, Liberia, yeah, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, all them people coming over, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi. These are people in the northern kingdom. These are people of the northern kingdom that don't even know who they are now. They sit in European borders and sit in European divisions and boundaries and not recognizing that they're the one people, the one Bantu people, the children of Jacob. The confederacy was successful. That's what they did with the Bible. They hold our people. They hold them in these borders. And the ones that they brought off the continent, they held them in borders like Guyana, French Guyana, Dutch Guyana. These were slave holdings. Dutch Guyana, French Guyana, British Guyana, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, Cuba, Haiti, Santo Domingo, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Montserrat, St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla. These are holdings of division to divide up the children of Jacob. So we will argue for those locations, not knowing that we are the same one people. So that they, you see, when we're divided like this, we don't seem to be, like the scriptures say, numberless like the sand on the seashore, because we have been fragmented by the nations deliberately to control, to dominate, to rule, to subjugate. Now I have those documents. Those documents are very safe now. These are the words that were used. This is the nation. This is what they're about. And they think that they'll get another extension on the rule by using COVID. So they're going to bring in the fake Messiah. Whether it be King John III or whoever. Bring in the fake Messiah. And then hoping to prolong the rule. But he says, when you see these things, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. Satan will not control this planet. And his seed line will not succeed. But we have to recognize the power that has been given to us. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. These what you see are the rulers of the darkness of this world. These are spiritual wickedness in high places. And the Most High commands us to bind these things and bring them into subjection, like he brought the demons into subjection. Sometimes it takes prayer and fasting to bring them. I know there is one that we need to put down there and call in the fire of Sunini on him again. Go back to Dangerous Prayers, I did that show. Call the fire in on that tear. He is bent on vaccinating 7 billion people. He behaves as though he owns 7 billion people on this planet. The fire of Sunini needs to come down on him. And we got that in our hands to call down the fire of Sunini on this tear, the gates of hell. He told us the gates of hell shall not prevail. He's very humorous, Sunini na Nini. He got them singing Jerusalem. And in another breath he said, the gates of hell shall not prevail. We didn't know that a man was going to come naming gates of hell. He says, there will be the last trumpet. We didn't know a man was going to come name Donald Trump. This is who Sonini is. He controls. He still is in control of this wicked breed. But we have a role to play. We must recognize that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but yet they are mighty through Sonini to the pulling down of strongholds. That's what Moses says. See if they're living in tents or they're living in strongholds. So we can plan the strategy. These ones are living in strongholds. So the word of Sonini is powerful. Cutting, dividing asunder, separating the bone from the marrow. And we have that power in our hands. This is the power, the spirit that raised up Mesindisi from the dead. And he said, if the spirit of him that raised up Mesindisi from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Mesindisi from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwells in you and me. That's the spirit in operation today. That's the spirit of revelation. That is the spirit of the exposition of this evil brood of vipers that use the Bible to control, change, and create the set in the Levant, fake land among the Arabs, and then tell us that's Jerusalem and Canaan's land, and that they are the owners of that. Yes, got nothing to do with us. Jerusalem is the city on the continent. The anointing comes in there, makes the whole world to be singing it in the face of Satan. Jerusalem, in the face of that wicked one, everybody is singing Jerusalem, the city of the Most High, the city of the Most High, in South Africa, in Canaan's land, still there today. I thought I should bring that to you tonight, and that's the manner in which it has come to you. We give praises and thanks. We know that they that corrupt the Bible, they think that they've succeeded, but they don't understand the nature of the Spirit of the Most High. They can chop it up how much they want it. You see, the Most High has put that word in our hearts. We don't need the book to know it now. It's in our spirit. As we said, in the last days, I will write my laws, my commandments, everything, my statutes and judgment in the hearts of the children of Jacob. It's written in there. And I urge those of us who are in the West not to carry the West into Africa. Let's leave the West in the West. Don't carry that disgusting behavior on the continent, and so our Father will be angry with us again. Don't just do that this time. Let us be the light of the world, and let not the nations shine light to us. We are the light of the world. We are the salt of the earth. And with that, I want to thank you for coming in the chat room tonight. May the Most High continue to watch over us. I see Felix, Kenny, Ruth, Stanford, Ronald, Nari, hope I got it right, Sharon, Sandra, Marietta, Mohimi, Duan, Jem, Tabitha, Stacy, I think I mentioned all that already. You're all welcome, and thank you for being in the chat room, and to the YouTube family as well, those who are going to pick this video up shortly. May the Most High continue to watch over us, like it, share it. Let the world know that we know where Jerusalem is, and we know who have been attempting to fake the locations and put them among the Arabs. We know these nations, and we don't have to look at the declaration again. We will not teach that to our children. We will teach our children who we really are. Yes, that's what we will do. Okay, I want to thank you again tonight, and may the Most High continue to watch over us. Good night.